On the menu today, sponsored by Trade Coffee. I've got poop bags!
Wait a moment.
Why do smells trigger nostalgia more than any other sense?
Like a candle.
Welcome.
These are your nostrils, not your ears. Oh, hello chip dippers, welcome back to Retro Recipes. And here at the channel, our mission is to keep the happiness of childhood nostalgia alive, sort of one video at a time. But little did I expect that I would actually be keeping my own nostalgia alive using dog poop. Yeah, I'll explain that in a moment. But we've all had that indescribable feeling when smell, more than any other sense really, takes us back, literally time traveling back to a moment in our childhood. But why does smell do that more than any other sense? Well, we're going to explore the science behind that and also try some fun experiments with nostril-based nostalgia. Nostrilgia, or as they're technically called, odor-evoked autobiographical memories. Now, some of the smells that take me back personally in time is the really specific sweet smell. I just got the nasal flashback there. Yeah, the smell of this Empire Strikes Back action figure. Also Play-Doh does it for me. I particularly like the look of yellow Play-Doh, but they all... that just... Now I'm transported back to my bedroom, back when I was maybe... 21 or 22 years old. I'm just kidding, like 8 or 9. And other things, of course, old magazines that you might have flicked through as a teenager. And for me, very specifically, the smell of epoxy resin, because when we filmed The Phantom Menace back at Leavesden Studios in London in 1997, when I was a spring chicken of 24 years old, just after I was playing with Play-Doh, the old converted Rolls-Royce hangars that they used as the studios were filled with the smell of epoxy resin from all the prop making going on. Yeah, it wasn't mostly green screen, contrary to myth. And the other one that does it for me is the smell of a new Apple Macintosh. Now, I mean new as in old, but when it was new in 1984. And I discovered recently I am not alone in that. Who knew? But I was inspired to make this video after a very specific recent event. You see, we bought a different brand of dog poop bags from Amazon, advertised as pineapple scented, and I was walking Puppyfractic whilst making sure our neighbours know and see that I'm not the type of person to leave a trail of doggy landmines behind me. I've got poop bags! Don't worry, I've got poop bags! Until the smell of the bags transported me back in time in the most vivid nasal flashback I've ever had. Suddenly I was 10 years old, but this wasn't just a memory, this was like a real transportation of heart and soul. Just incredible. Right? You were there, you remember. And all the way home I kept sniffing the bag, trying to poke away at my brain to find out what that actual smell or memory was. Like, why was I pining for pineapple? Now at first, it made me think of Simmons McGee computer shop in Twickenham, long since closed down, that my dad used to take me to and where I actually bought my first ever game for the Apple IIe. Did they perhaps have a pineapple air freshener? Then it dawned on me. It wasn't pineapple air freshener, it was, well, just Apple computers. See, there was something chemically about the mix of the plastic in those bags and of the fruit smell that had coincidentally recreated the exact smell of the brand new 1984 Apple Macintosh belonging to my friend Mattyfractic that we used to play on together and, well, yes, sniff together, as well as drawing masterpieces, including these. And here is the science behind why nostalgia smells like you're sort of on vacation even when you're at home. So when we inhale a smell, such as an Apple Mac, that aroma is processed by the brain's olfactory bulb. It's part of the limbic system and one of the first parts of the brain to fully develop during childhood, which might help explain the strength of childhood flashbacks connected to all of this. The olfactory bulb connects directly to the hippocampus, which plays a crucial role in the formation and storage of memories about experienced events. And so the hippocampus directly links that smell with that memory or event. And the olfactory nerve is actually the only direct singular connection between the brain and the outside world. All the other senses are first processed by the thalamus before journeying to the hippocampus for storage as memory. So in a way, memories linked to the other senses are sort of one step further removed in their clarity. Now, this was all likely developed as an evolutionary benefit for us that we don't really use anymore. But of course, famously, Puppyfractics do use it when they're out hunting or sniffing up the neighborhood when she's not hiding from the world and sleeping. Yeah, I guess it does. But yeah, for us humans, now all we use that for is nostalgia flashbacks. But it goes even deeper than that. The hippocampus also encodes emotional context from the amygdala of what's going on around you at the moment you inhale that smell. So when in later life we experience the same smell again, such as me sniffing my Apple Macintosh, the smell travels as usual up the nose, then from the olfactory bulb directly to the hippocampus. But this time, instead of forming a new memory, an old match is found. Suddenly the associated memories, experienced events, and emotional context of exactly how we felt when we were 10 years old and first experienced that smell are played back by the hippocampus in vivid living color directly into our minds. And it feels like directly into our hearts, doesn't it? But even sniffing a PCB can bring back that kind of memory. And that does remind me, if you want great quality PCBs starting at just $5, we recommend PCB Way! They make great quality PCBs, and as we all know, PCB stands for poop container bags, doesn't it? But this isn't just about fun and childhood nostalgia. These studies actually have a real benefit. You see, aromas have been used to help treat people with PTSD or depression by exposing them to associated smells with happy memories, happy events like freshly baked cookies, freshly baked bread, issues of Zap 64, and, well, I'll let Ladyfractic talk about the next one.
For a video all about the aroma of nostalgia, what smell has a greater effect on us than fresh coffee?
Our sponsors at Trade have made it easy to connect you with the best coffee from the local roasters across the nation. I love their idea of customizing your coffee to your taste. All you have to do is take the quiz and answer how you like to take your coffee. Choose your delivery frequency, brew your coffee, give it a rating, and repeat. These were the coffees that were based on my personal preferences. They were shipped within 24 hours of my order, packed in these red, eye-catching compostable packages. I'm a huge fan of supporting small local roasters, and they care so much about the product they put out, and you can truly taste the difference in the final product. And if you don't like your first match, they'll send you out a different bag for free. Chip dippers can get their first bag free using the link in the description box. Cheers!
Cheers, Ladyfractic. Oh, empty. Now, in studies, some smells have actually been shown to trigger more nostalgia than others. For example, lavender has been found to induce greater feelings of nostalgia than peppermint. And I do wonder if that sweet plastic Numac smell might be one of those greater ones. And for you, it might be that new car smell, or pine trees at Christmas, or the beach, or even an old Flames perfume. Don't put Flames near perfume, by the way. It took 3 years for my eyebrows to grow back. Anyway, I mentioned that the olfactory system is one of the first parts of the brain to fully finish developing, and that might help explain why childhood events are usually the things that we're thrown back to with memories, because that was the first time anything smelled that way to us. And I don't know about you, but from before the age of 10, I don't really have vivid memories of events, but I do have vivid memories associated with smells. It's kind of magical the way that lightning bolt can hit us out of the blue. And as for the other senses, the reason that, for example, that song that you heard repeatedly as a kid, perhaps Thala music on the Commodore 64, because it connects to the thalamus, that's why it doesn't have quite such a strong memory association. Another way to think of it is that those other senses connect to the cognitive brain, whereas scent and smell connects directly to the emotional brain. Now, I mentioned some experiments, so let's have some fun with that. I sent some poop bags, yes, to some of my top tier supporters. Yeah, you cannot say I don't treat my supporters as VIPs. Very important poop. How do you do that in your sleep? It's very impressive. Anyway, I asked these supporters to give the poop bags a sniff and just tell me what it makes them think of. Here were the results. But I wanted to take this experiment further, so I sent some bags to Mattyfractic, my same childhood friend and owner of that Apple Macintosh that started it all. I intentionally gave him no context, but asked him to put himself on camera, opening the bags and giving them a sniff. This is how it went.
Greetings, Puppyfractic fans from Tropical Blighty. Now, Puppyfractic has emailed me and has asked me to sniff this Amazon delivery. I have genuinely no idea why. No doubt it's another one of his harebrained schemes, so let's give this a try. Wags and Wiggles poop bags.
And then it immediately started raining, so inside he went. At least there was no lightning.
Well, that's interesting. I'm not getting much. Maybe some subtle notes of pineapple. No, seriously, maybe scratch and sniff stickers. No, wait a moment. I know exactly what that smells like. That smells like computer packaging from the 1980s. Yeah, that's it.
And yes, I promise you, he genuinely came to that conclusion all by himself with no prompting from me, and this is the email he sent me when he first figured it out.
Am I right?
I also asked on Facebook, and many of you were in agreement, that brand new computers of the 80s and 90s had a very specific smell that just brings a smile. Something about that mix of metal, ABS plastic, and packaging. And it's really fun seeing how other people respond. So let's send our Retro Recipes roving reporter, Ladyfractic, back out onto the streets of the UK to see what gives more of you nostalgia flashbacks.
Have you ever had a nasal flashback?
Yeah, most winters when the air starts to get cold, I kind of smell that and associate it to Christmases with my parents.
It was just the smell of a morning, and it was exactly like back when I was at my nana's place.
Sometimes you walk past and you're like, oh, hang on a minute, but you sometimes can't put your finger on what it is. It could literally be like a candle.
I used to be an astronomer, and there's the residencias for the astronomers up at the mountains next to the telescopes. They have a certain cleaning product smell to them, and now if I smell that again, I think of being up a mountain. I guess you should be thinking of smell of pines of mountains, but I think of the cleaning products.
Brilliant stuff. Thanks, Ladyfractic. And it is really interesting, so I want you guys to try and experiment yourselves. The next time that you have a big day or an event coming up that you know you're going to want to remember forever, it could be a wedding day, it could be even a divorce day, what I want you to do is find something that smells like something you've never smelled before. Go and buy a new perfume, for example, or subscribe to Trade Coffee. Remember, your first bag is free. Then, during that day, several times, smell that item. When the day's over, lock that item away. And then, let's say a year later, I want you to open up wherever you've hidden it and give it another sniff and see if it brings you back like a lightning bolt of time travel back to that special day. She's back as well. Hey baby, do you have a nice sleep? Oh, and if you remember, and if your hippopotamus campus reminds you, come back and let me know the results. I'll be here waiting all year. Now she's going to remember that smell forever. But you know, the more I thought about all this, I did start to think about other practical uses. And you know, in Alzheimer's patients, the hippocampus is actually the first part of the brain to fail. And it did get me wondering whether regular stimulation of the hippocampus to recall memories through aroma might actually exercise it and help prevent Alzheimer's in more people. And without getting too schmaltzy or deep, I don't know if you believe in the possibility of parallel universes or time travel. When I smell something like Play-Doh, that is the truest form of time travel there is. Well, looks like the doctor's here. Just what the doctor ordered. I do hope that you will buy some poop bags and some trade coffee. The links to both are actually in the description. And let me know if you experience the same effect that I do. We'll be back soon with another delicious smelling retro recipe. Until then, thanks for watching. Subscribe and support below, and cheerio. Looks like she's meditating.
What smell has a greater effect than the aroma of French coffee?
French coffee.
Yes.